Hello everyone and welcome back to Star Watch Now. Tonight, I want to ask you a simple but explosive question. If Wang Yibo's digital album numbers really do overtake Jay Chou on some charts, does that mean he has truly surpassed a legend? For some people, that sounds exciting. For others, it feels almost offensive. But what if the real story is not about who is greater, but about how our entire music world has changed from CDs in our school bags to digital albums in our phones, from quiet listening to organized fan data storms? Stay with me because by the end of this video you might look at your favorite songs and your favorite idols in a completely different way. The story begins with a single, simple claim. Wang Yibo's album sales have overtaken Jay Chou's. On paper, it looks like nothing more than a chart update, one more headline in a fast-moving digital world. Yet the moment this idea spread, something deeper was touched. Comment sections filled with pride, anger, confusion, and disbelief. It was no longer just about an album. It was about memory, identity, and the feeling that a whole era was being challenged. For younger fans, the news felt exciting. Their idol, a child of the social media age, was finally standing on numbers that looked as grand as those of a legend. To them, it seemed like proof that their generation is not living in the shadow of the past, but creating its own history. For older listeners, however, the statement sounded almost disrespectful. How can a few years of data, gathered in a world of instant downloads and mass fan projects, be placed beside 2 decades of songs that quietly traveled through classrooms, bedrooms, and long bus rides home? This clash of emotions reveals an important truth. When we argue about numbers, we are rarely arguing about numbers alone. We are defending our own timeline, our own youth, our own way of loving music. Behind that controversial claim lies a much larger question. What does it really mean to overtake someone in art? And can a statistic ever capture that? To understand why the comparison cuts so deeply, we need to return to the world that shaped Jay Chou. His rise did not happen in a single explosive moment, but through years of steady creation, in an age when music traveled slowly, yet sank in very deeply. People saved money to buy physical albums, not as part of a campaign, but as a quiet promise to themselves. This belongs to my story. Jay Chou's songs arrived in bedrooms filled with exam stress, in internet cafes where friends shared headphones, in karaoke rooms where shyness faded after midnight. Tracks such as Simple Love, Silence, or 7 Mile Fragrance became more than melodies. They were emotional codes shared by an entire generation. You did not just listen to him, you grew up with him. His achievements are not simply the sum of sales and awards. They live in the way his music blended Western rhythms with Chinese instruments, how his unusual phrasing and poetic lyrics stretched the boundaries of mainstream pop. He turned personal sensitivity into an entire aesthetic, one that influenced the sound of Chinese music for years. In this sense, Jay Chou represents the era of works. His power lies in the long tail of time, songs that continue to be rediscovered by new listeners long after their original release. When people defend him so fiercely today, they are not only defending a singer. They are protecting a piece of their emotional history, a language of youth that they do not want rewritten by a single new statistic. If Jay Chou is the symbol of the slow-burning classic, Wang Yibo stands at the center of a completely different landscape. He emerged in a world where music, variety shows, short videos, and brand campaigns are interwoven, and where the boundary between an artist's work and their public persona is far thinner. Every performance, interview, or behind-the-scenes clip can instantly become part of the story his fans build around him. In this environment, the fan community is no longer just a group of supporters. It operates almost like an intelligent, emotional machine. The release of a digital album is planned with precision. Purchase guides are shared, time slots are arranged, and goals are set. Fans are not acting as isolated individuals but as a coordinated force, determined to carve their idol's name into the data charts of the moment. For these fans, buying an album is more than consumption. It is an expression of loyalty, a way of saying, "We are here, and we will not let him be underestimated." Their strength lies in speed and concentration. Within hours, they can generate numbers that older models of the industry could never have imagined. This is not to say that the music itself does not matter. Many listeners genuinely enjoy Wang Yibo's songs and feel understood by the emotions he embodies. But the system he sits within rewards visible peaks. Records broken upon release day, screenshots shared like trophies, and rankings used as evidence in every online debate. He is the face of a new era where emotional attachment, digital tools, and group strategy merge into a new kind of power. With these two worlds in mind, the phrase Wang Yibo has surpassed Jay Chou begins to feel strangely thin. It compresses 20 years of changing technology, culture, and behavior into a single line, as if all that matters is one ranking on one platform at one moment in time. Yet the foundations beneath those rankings could not be more different. Jay Chou's data grew like a tree. Year after year, album after album, roots slowly dug deeper into the soil of everyday life. His songs collected stories, from people falling in love to people leaving home, from lonely walks to noisy gatherings. His impact is measured not only by how many copies he sold, but by how many memories carry his melodies quietly in the background. Wang Yibo's numbers, by contrast, surge like a tide. When his work is released, his fans surround it with a deliberate wave of support. The intensity is remarkable and deserves recognition. It also reflects a world where visibility is constantly contested. To stand still is to vanish, so each release becomes a battle to be seen and counted. To say that one has beaten the other using a single figure is a little like declaring that a sprint champion has defeated a marathon runner because the stopwatch says so. They may both be athletes, but they have trained for entirely different races. Recognizing this is not an attempt to protect anyone's pride. It is simply an honest admission that art, time, and human feeling do not fit neatly into one leaderboard. Once we move beyond the argument over who stands above whom, a quieter, more important question appears. What do we, as listeners, really seek in music? The modern industry invites us to treat success as something that can be captured in charts, streams, and trending tags. These numbers are clear, shareable, and easy to turn into arguments. But they are also fragile. They rise and fall with every new release cycle, with every algorithm change and marketing wave. In contrast, the value that stays with us is often invisible from the outside. It lives in the song that gave us courage before an exam, the track that comforted us on a long journey, the melody that reminds us of someone we once loved. That is where Jay Chou's legacy has quietly settled, and where Wang Yibo's music, if it continues to grow, may also find its place over time. Perhaps the wisest response to the controversy is not to pick a winner, but to refine our own standards. We can acknowledge the immense dedication of modern fan communities and the opportunity they create for younger artists. At the same time, we can honor the long, patient work of those whose songs have survived the test of years. In the end, data may tell us who is loudest today, but only our hearts can tell us who remains tomorrow. The true measure of an artist is not only how high they climb in a moment, but how gently and persistently their music continues to walk beside us through the changing seasons of our lives.